Hey, what's up everybody? I'm gonna do another classic rock reaction. This is called The Rain Song, and it's by English rock group Led Zeppelin. Let's get it. I was told this is going to be a mellow acoustics Led Zeppelin.
It is the springtime of my loving, the second season I'm to know. You are the sunlight in my growing, so little warmth I felt before. It's hard to feel me glowing. I watched the fire that grew so low. Oh,
This is from the movie. That guitar's gotta be heavy, man. I like this nice somber tone. Shows really good diversity, you know. Very few bands can kind of show a flip side. Yo, this is awesome. This whole movie, the scenery, and switching back and forth from the movie scenes to the concert. Oh, look at that. He owns a flying raptor.
it is the summer of my smiles. Flee from me, keepers of the blue. Speak to me only with your eyes. Oh, it is to you I give this tune. It isn't hard to recognize. Oh, these things are clear to all.
I get the impression he's storming the castle to rescue a fair maiden. Hold up. So, sorry for the pause, man. Yeah, first impressions. This, I was warned by a lot of you in the comments requesting this, that it's a very somber, acoustic ballad type of a song. And that's great, you know, and it's exactly as you described it, because I'm really loving this. I'm loving how they can show diversity, the flip side of their thunderous, heavy, hard rocking side, and now you've got a really, really nice, calm, somber, beautiful ballad. And this, I gotta check out this movie, man. The song remains the same. I gotta check this movie out. But in any case, visually, what's happening is that he's storming the castle walls, probably to rescue a fair maiden. I get that. That's just a visual, but it's not going to detract from the lyrics of the song. And I really love the lyrics of the song. He is describing, I believe, the changes of emotions, maybe the ups and downs of being in love, in a relationship. And of course it's accompanied by all of the visuals here, but I'm getting what the song is dropping, and he's going through, I guess, a lover's lament, going through different stages of emotional challenges that relationships bring. So I get that. I like this very much, man. I don't know many bands who can do a really, really nice ballad, a really nice rendition like this. So I'm, man, this Led Zeppelin rabbit hole is wide and deep as hell. And I'm really, really digging this side to them. Thanks for the recommendations. Let's keep going, man. There's the fair maiden. Listen to the drums.
These are the seasons of emotion.
Yo.
And like the wind, they rise and fall.
I love that power signature, and then they go back this nice, calm, somber ballad. Upon us all, just a little rain must fall. Ups and downs of being in a relationship. Man, these guys are so good. This guy's incredible, man. Like eyes closed and everything. Oh man. That's got to be the best ballad I've ever heard. Man. The Rain Song, Led Zeppelin. That was incredible, man. Holy cow. Yo. That is how you do a ballad. That is how you do a rock and roll love ballad. Nothing sappy about this. No corny ass lines. Man, that is powerful. They've got their power signature in there. A little bit of thunder, not a lot, just enough to let you know that, yo, this is us, this is Led Zeppelin you're listening to. I love how they go from the valley, and then they peak, and then they go back into the valley again. They rise and they fall, and then they carry that somber line straight. Man, I'm telling you, this is an incredible trip that I'm on. This Led Zeppelin thing, and my stupid ass assumptions, man. I was assuming so many things, but I never ever got an impression that they were capable of something like this. Where ballads are concerned, I know in music it's a completely different challenge. It's a different science altogether, and some just don't have it in them to produce ballads, especially a cool ballad like this. Like I said, it didn't make me roll my eyes with sappiness or corniness. It was powerful, it was strong, it was in your face, and relatable. That's how I'm gonna label this song. Relatable. We can all relate to every single word he was saying, man. Upon us all, just a little rain must fall. We all go through the ups and downs, emotional challenges of being in a relationship, being in love. It isn't just kittens and rainbows, man. It has challenges, and your emotions will move all over the place. The Rain Song, man. I like this as much as I liked their blues, their thunderous signature that I've been looking at so far. This song is up there with Since I've Been Loving You. It's maybe one notch behind it, but I'm glad that you guys told me to react to the live version. Just the force and the power coming from them live, I think this song really does them justice. Now, having said that though, I can't be assuming like I do. I gotta go and I gotta listen to the studio version just to kind of get the difference in the variance. But yo, man, this live version has more power, and you listen to the crowd. They're loud when they need to be. They're quiet when they need to be. What I wouldn't give to jump into a time machine and go back and be in the front row of this concert, man. Yo, yeah, this is something new to me, this whole Led Zeppelin thing, man. I'm really, really glad that I started to look behind the curtain of their conventional commercial hits. And I describe discovering Led Zeppelin as kind of like an iceberg, you know. I've only ever really seen the tip. And now that I'm looking below the surface, it's like this gigantic, massive mass of discovery. And I'm going through a state of overwhelm. Just because I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't ready in my mind that they had all of this coming from them. You know, I at one point thought, okay, Immigrant Song's enough. Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven, and Black Dog, that's enough. Those were the songs that I knew. The parties that I went to, those were the songs that I heard. But yo, man, why in the hell didn't my friends play this at a party, you know? Okay. I'll get off beating up my friends and just say thank you for introducing me to the stuff behind the curtain. So let's get into a little Led Zeppelin, man. I always say that every song has a story, and I want to get to the story of this song. Just going to Wikipedia here. Man, Wikipedia is your best friend. It's been my best friend ever since I started this thing. Actually, no, I'm lying. You guys have actually been my best friend, because what I read from Wikipedia is great. It lays a good foundation. But the questions that I have in my mind that I need answered, that's where you guys come in and you kind of fill in those blank spaces. So no, you guys are my best friends in my whole journey of learning this stuff. Okay, man, Led Zeppelin. Yo, I'm still buzzing from that song. Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin were an English rock band formed in London in 1968. The group consisted of guitarist Jimmy Page, singer Robert Plant, bassist and keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. The band's heavy guitar-driven sound has led them to be cited as one of the progenitors of heavy metal. Their style drew from a wide variety of influences, including blues, psychedelia, and folk rock. Led Zeppelin are widely considered one of the most successful, innovative, and influential rock groups. They are one of the best-selling music artists in the history of audio recording. Sources estimate the group's record sales at 200 to 300 million units worldwide. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. The museum's biography of the band states that they were as influential during the 1970s as the Beatles were during the 1960s. Right there is an astounding feat. You know, just being that strong of an influence. You know, forget all of the accolades, forget all of the awards and the accomplishments. Just being that influential, comparable to the Beatles. Yo, man. All right, formation of the song. The Rain Song is a song. The Rain Song is the second track from their fifth album, Houses of the Holy, released in 1973. It's a ballad of over 7 minutes in length. Guitarist Jimmy Page originally constructed the melody of this song at his home in Plumpton, England, where he had recently installed a studio mixing console. Page was able to bring in a completed arrangement of the melody, for which singer Robert Plant composed the words. Plant ranks his vocal performance on the track as one of his best. No doubt, man. The song also features a mellotron played by John Paul Jones to add to the orchestral effect, while Page plays Dan electro guitar. George Harrison, a big fan, was reportedly the inspiration for the Rain Song when he made a comment to Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham. The comment was about the fact that the group never wrote any ballads. Okay. Bonham brought in the idea, and the rest of the band worked with him to put it together. It is one of the few Led Zeppelin songs where all four members shared the composer credit. In Light and Shade Conversations with Jimmy Page, biographer Brad Tolinski quotes Page, and I quote, George Harrison, was talking to Bonzo one evening and said, "The problem with you guys is that you never do ballads." I said, "I'll give him a ballad." Jimmy says, "I said, I'll give him a ballad, and I wrote Rain Song, which appears on Houses of the Holy. In fact, you'll notice I even quote something in the song's first two chords." Okay. Yeah, something. That was written by George Harrison. Something. In a nod to George Harrison, Jimmy Page played the first two notes of the Harrison-written Beatles song, Something, in the intro to the Rain Song. From late 1972 until 75, the band played this song immediately following The Song Remains the Same, presenting the songs in the same order as they appeared on the album. They organized their set list in this way because Page used a Gibson EDS 1275 double neck guitar for both songs. The top 12-string neck for The Song Remains the Same, and then switching to the bottom 6-string neck for the Rain Song. Yeah, that looked like a heavy-ass guitar. Drummer John Bonham took brushes to his drums on this song, demonstrating his versatility. Surprisingly, he continued to use them even when the song gets heavy. John Paul Jones played the Mellotron, one of the first synthesizers. It sounds here like an orchestra for violins. Okay. Reception. In a contemporary review of Houses of the Holy, Gordon Fletcher of Rolling Stone gave the Rain Song a negative review, calling the track, along with No Quarter, as nothing more than drawn-out vehicles for the further display of Jones's unknowledgeable use of mellotron and synthesizer. God damn, man. People. Yeah. In a retrospective review of Houses of the Holy, Deluxe Edition, Christopher Lenz of Consequence of Sound gave the Rain Song a more positive review, describing the track as one of the most sentimental tracks in Led Zeppelin's catalog, along with calling it patient and beautifully arranged. Lenz further wrote that Plant's lyrics and vocals infuse a sense of humanity, loss, and transcendence, a touch of emotional maturity. Absolutely. Very good. Yo, man. Question for you guys, directly for you guys to tell me, why was Led Zeppelin so disliked? Now, maybe it was just the whole genre, maybe it was just a number of bands that came up around that time, like Black Sabbath was coming up around that time. I know that Cream and Hendrix were doing their thing even before that, and they had a heavy sound. But it seems that there was a certain amount of dislike specifically towards Led Zeppelin. Why is that? I can't find anything really giving me a satisfactory enough answer. But tell me why they were disliked. Was it just the critics? Was it parents? Why were they disliked? Because that is a really, really nasty ass review, the first one that I read. So let me know. Was there something that they did? Something that was said? I remember John Lennon started quoting something about kids are focused too much on the Beatles and not so much on going to church and learning about Jesus. And he got into a lot of trouble for that and stuff like that. So maybe it was some sort of an incident like that I don't know about. Let me know, man. Because I don't understand why they were disliked, you know? Okay, let me keep going. I lost my way. Okay, yeah. So, legacy and usage in other media. Record producer Rick Rubin says, I don't even know what kind of music this is, meaning the Rain Song. It defies classification. There's such tasteful, beautiful detail in the guitar, and a triumphant feel when the drums come in. Yeah, those drums, man. It's sad and moody and strong, all at the same time. I could listen to this song all day. That would be a good day. Absolutely. Where ballads go, I'm not big on ballads, but man, I could listen to songs like this all day. The Rain Song has appeared in 4 films. The ending of Cemetery Junction, Almost Famous. It Might Get Loud, a documentary by filmmaker Davis Guggenheim. I saw a little piece of that when the 3 of them were playing together. And Led Zeppelin's own 1976 concert film, The Song Remains the Same. Okay? And that's the history and background of this song. Yeah, man, so, yeah, going back to it, it's still kind of sticking in my mind here. I really got to know why Led Zeppelin were disliked. And it seems like it's more so coming from critics. Were these so-called music critics, music experts, not aware of what they were doing? Obviously, they were ushering in their own sound. Maybe it was just so new that they just didn't know what the hell to make of it. Maybe it was just too loud. I mean, they certainly weren't singing about doom and gloom and death. So what the hell? Why did they not like Led Zeppelin? That's gonna bug me. Let me know why. Alright, man. So let's just move on. The song itself, I love the lyrics of the song. I love the subject matter of what the lyrics are addressing. I like the soulfulness in it. It's somber at times. It's got some thunder in it. Great acoustics. Jimmy Page, fantastic, man. And everybody, you can tell everybody's really at the top of what they're doing in this, from the vocals to John Paul Jones and the monotron, the synthesizers. I have trouble with that word for some reason. And the drums, you know, the drums came in at such a great point. You know, it's quiet when it needs to be, and then it comes in at that moment and delivers that thunder, and then it goes back to that song. I love that, man. That was fantastic. Yeah, and when I'm talking about the history of songs and the story behind it, how cool is this story? George Harrison mentioning, you know, you guys should do a ballad. And this is quite a ballad, definitely. They don't need to do any more ballads. I bet you they probably have more, but this is definitely a great rock and roll ballad. I'm sure George Harrison was very, very happy with this after the fact. And I'm sure he's very happy that he issued that challenge, you know, to the band. Excellent, excellent. You know, when you mix with other great musicians, you know, you can't help but be affected in a good way. And this is definitely rubbing shoulders with a good musician and being affected in a really good way. Let me first off back up. I'm doing all of this damn talking and I'm not following my little notes here. I wanted to say thanks very much to everyone who recommended this song. When I did I think it was In My Time of Dying, or no, it was Good Times, Bad Times. At the tail end of that reaction, I was asking if they have other kind of acoustic type, folksy type songs. And the response and the recommendations were really, really awesome. You guys had so many recommendations. So thanks very much for this one, and thanks also for including the footnote to listen to it live, because listening to this in a live setting I think is very, very appropriate for this song. I'm sure the studio version is good too, and I'm gonna listen to it to compare, but yo man, I know right now that it's not gonna be better than this live version. I know that. Yeah, it's a ballad and then some. Yeah, so I got another note here. Let me just scroll down. Remind myself. You see, I write these notes for myself, like sometimes days in advance, and then of course I forget, and then I come back to my... Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what's happening with me and my whole Led Zeppelin experience. I have reactions that I've shot. Here's a good example. I shot You Shook Me from their first album, You Shook Me All Night Long. And, you know, I kind of ran a little test, just let it sit there and let the algorithm play with it for a while, and it seemed like it was okay. So then I shot the reaction, and when I attempted to upload it, it was all of a sudden out of nowhere blocked. So I don't get it, man. At first it was fine, and then afterwards it wasn't. So I'm experiencing this with a lot of Led Zeppelin songs. So, and I'm not fooling around with block content. I mean, I can kind of like push it through, but yo, I don't want to get strikes and things like that. So I'm being very, very careful with it. But it's a toss of the dice for me which song will be allowed to get published. So I see your requests. I'm willing to definitely do a reaction for all of them, but it's a question of what will be allowed to go public, and that's what I'm running into. So yeah, man, I've got this awesome reaction to You Shook Me, and I don't know what to do with it, right? Because it's been blocked. So I'm starting to accumulate this catalog of blocked reactions. I mean, I've got American Woman from the Guess Who. I've got Unknown Soldier from the Doors. You know, 10 Years After, that's another one. You know, I'd Love to Change the World. So I'm starting to accumulate a lot of blocked reactions. Running with the Devil from Van Halen. So in regards to Led Zeppelin specifically, I'm running into this quite often. So just to let you know what's happening. Anyway, man, I think that's basically it for my reaction to the Rain song. I really loved it. It's a fantastic song, a great ballad, and where ballads are concerned, I think it's, in my mind, the best rock and roll ballad I've heard thus far. So I challenge you guys to send me another rock and roll ballad that can match or top this. I challenge you. So let me know if there are any other great ballads like this that you might want me to react to, specifically that Led Zeppelin has. And also, man, just give me your Led Zeppelin favorites and recommendations, and I'll just try and run it through and see what happens. If it doesn't work, I'll let you know, hey, I tried and it doesn't work. But yeah, man, I'm gonna continue to try anyway, react to them, and if it doesn't work, I'll just listen to it on my own time for my own edification. But yeah, thanks again for this recommendation. Everybody who recommended this to me, there were so many of you who did, and it started to become, it was like in the top 3 or 4 of Led Zeppelin recommended songs, and I knew it was different, and I knew that it was a ballad. So I thought, okay, you know, let's switch a little bit, go from the thunder more to the softer acoustic ballads. And it had a little bit of everything in it, though, including a little bit of that thunderous sound that I like. Anyway, man, enough talking. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you in another reaction. Take care and have a good day. Peace.